Hello, everybody. Today I'm gonna be going through a Tuscarora Unit 7 that I did. So I've been using Foreign Service Institute courses because some of the older ones have a really good outline for different units on language learning, and I've been using the Amharic one, specifically the national language of Ethiopia, to kind of translate these. So units 1 to 4 already had a lot of the things that we discussed before. So it'll be like things like, what's your name, where do you live, hello, how are you, and stuff like that that we don't need to revisit. So this unit is about getting a hotel, and there's a lot of grammar I'm sure I'm missing in these because Tuscarora grammar, just like any other language, has a lot of grammar that should be considered when you're translating things. But I'm doing the best that I can based on what I know. I'm sure I'm gonna have to come back through this and change stuff. Like right now, the main thing really is like trying to figure out how to express location in Tuscarora, which I've got no clue. There's different particles, like there's a verb to be located or to be in a location, but that's the closest thing we have to like finding if something is located somewhere. Because Tuscarora has its own ways of expressing things that we would just use like a simple phrase for. They have like a suffix that they have to add to certain verbs and certain aspects they have to add to that to squeeze out the meaning that they want to have. So we're just gonna go over what we can. There's also some additional sentences as well. So the first one, hello. Could you please direct me to a good hotel? Chwen Thakweni Nyawe Nakwahu Thoth Hotel Aquastique. So Chwen means hello. So this was in a previous unit. Thakweni is the plus the joiner ah, which you put after a consonant, but before another consonant. So you put this, they call it an epenthetic vowel, or just a joiner. Queni, Queni means to be able to, or it can also mean possible. Like in this word, euquenia, it's the same. It's basically the same word, but this means can you, and then there's this punctual here to indicate that it's just could they right now, could they real quick, and then it's done. Yahweh, please, not quite who thought. So this means direct me or show. It means specifically show me. This came straight out of the dictionary, so I'm not exactly sure what the root is for this, or the main stem from this verb is, but it has these. But this is what came out of there. And then Otelaquast. So quast means good. Is that joiner again, the same joiner that's in Thakweni, and in hotel. There's no word for hotel in the dictionary. I mean, you could make a phrase like where one sleeps. That might be a bed or something, or a place. You might a place where one sleeps, something, or a place where one stops to sleep. There could be anything. It could be something like that. I'm sure they had a way to say hotel, and then ke or ka is just a location particle that means in a place. I believe it also means where as well when it stands alone. And then the next one, yes, I can. The Keon Hotel sounds good to me. So, not once, Kakweni. So not once means yes. And ka, so the ka, the first person singular verb conjugation is basically just a K. And then you can combine that with whatever verb. Usually, if you have two K's, I think it would. I think it like form. It just folds down into one, so you don't have to say a double K. But you've got Nawas Kakwani, so I can ha in Tuscarora is either a definite article or it can be a focus particle. So it's something you would use to put the focus on something. I guess it would be kind of like using like wa in Japanese or or no, in Korean where you it's like a top. I'm not gonna call it a topical marker, but that's what they are in those languages. This is more like you're just marking the focus, but it translates as the in the dictionary. So Ha Gion Hotel, Yuk. So you Yukara Kara Quest. So you is essentially it. This ka is it to me. This is the joiner vowel, and then rakar means to sound, and then is that joiner again. Rakara quast, and quast means good. So rakara quast, and in English you could say sounds good to me, right? Sounds good to me, or sounds good to me. You don't need to put the it because sounds already has the s at the end, so you know it's a third person singular. That it is kind of implied, but in Tuscarora, whenever you say something like that, where we don't need it, they have to put that it there. And since it's Artiami, it's Yuk. Or at least that's my understanding of it right now. This may change, but as of today, this is how I'm understanding the how you would say it. Now this one about the address. So you have what is the address or where is it located? This one is a problem for me because I looked up the word for address. I looked up location, locate, so I could say at least like where do you locate it or where is it located, or even if you get like locate plus the distributive, so you could say like the you mentioned where different places are located. So the closest thing we have to this is how how I believe is what is where. So what Tuscarora does have is you have, I mean, many or much. You could say this different times, different locations. So if you wanted to say like how many, there's not really a way to say how many. So you might have to put like the word for what, or the word for how, and combine it with this to mean how many or how much. If you're like saying how many languages did you learn, for example, then or how many of this do you have? Then this would have to serve in that way. Across different times that you might have learned a language or different places you learned it. So it's all kind of one thing. But Tuscarora does have F. This is to be in a location. It also means to step, like take a step. And then there's also this yunt. And yunt is it basically can mean like it is there. It's also the verb for having something. So if you say like for example in this sense here, suya, suya, it means do you have or you have. So there's that as well. But I'm not entirely. I've seen this, but a lot of the time it's just saying like isn't it okay. It's using it for like walking around or taking steps. Like I haven't found a good enough example in the dictionary so far um for to be in a location specifically. But I'm figuring it out. So what I did was I just attached that particle to the word for to the word for how or the word for what. I'm sorry, the word for what or the word for where, because it's like where's it located in. So it means to be located in. So if you say where is it located in, then that's going to give someone the idea that you got where and you have to be located in. So it makes sense to me to be located in, and where to be located in would mean where's it at. I mean, it could mean where is a step. I mean, where is a step or where you taking a step, but because I'm only using this with no second singular pronoun or that the conjugation for it, I feel like this could mean where is it located. And so for this, you can get there by taxi. So I just said it's possible that you can get there by taxi. So this is an interesting sense as well. So you quenya means it is possible. In this way, you could say it's possible to get there, and then tha or sa. You could say, you know, sitia tuxit. So there's different ways. There's three different there's three different suffixes that express the instrumental. So you can use this one, and there's two other ones. I don't know if you can only use certain ones for certain contexts. Like I'm talking about, like besides a word ending in a vowel or a consonant. I think the three that they give you are interchangeable. There may be specific contexts for them, but according to the grammar I've been reading by Mitoon, I haven't. I'm not. I was led to believe that there's no difference in them as long as you're following the phonetic the phonetic rules about you know adjusting the sounds if they follow certain sounds, or if they have or if certain sounds are around them, then you would just change it, right? So etm as well. There's also two other verbs for going somewhere, so you could say etm. All there's also tihu. Tihu is like, I think et is like arrive at. Tihu might be arrive at. I'm not sure, but I know that all is just arrive. Either way, these either mean arrive or arrive at. So that's how we're saying get there, because when you look up get, that form of get is not in there. So, and then we have taxi. There's no word for taxi. I could have put driver on there, but taxi, that's your way, the way you're gonna go. And the instrumental is expressed in Tuscarora via 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 the instrumental route. So you could this can be used for it is used for, as well as instrumental, like with blah blah. You can do something with this. So because you're traveling, you arrive, taxi, buy. So it's essentially buy taxi. And this goes after the taxi, because taxi into the vowel. So you would just you would just put the pharyngeal vowel followed by to get to say that you can get there. How will you get there? You get there by taxi. So in Tuscarora, you could say you can get there, or you can say you can get there by taxi, or you could even say you can get there by a red taxi, by a red shore taxi. So whenever you have verbs in Tuscarora, you can expand them via, you could be like, you could say to be located in, it could be a verb. You could say to be located in a red building. You could put red building as part as to be located, and make as long of a sentence as you want. And you can make that, and that could all be part of the verb phrase. That's what's fascinating about this language. I mean, you could do that with like Lenape and the Nahuatl language as well. All those languages have their own ways of expressing stuff like that. And then you have the word for there, heho. And the next one, okay, I'm calling a taxi. How? Walk. So whenever you're doing like, I'm calling something, oftentimes you would put this wa in front of the k there. And sometimes you don't even have to mark it, from what I'm understanding. But in this context, I think you do. I'm not sure. But how means okay. I'm calling a taxi, so walk. So I'm calling it. This is call. I'm not sure if it's call on the phone. It's just call. Like, oh, he called for. So we're just using this because that's the only word for call that's in the dictionary that I can find for this. So, hare, hare, hare is calling, and then taxi. Taxi plus the punctual, because you're just making a quick call. So I'm calling a taxi. So you can do that here. And then, please. I'm calling a taxi. Please take me to the Guion Hotel, please. So, Ahawi means, to take someone to, or take something, take someone to, take me. And then I'm assuming that if I say Kahawi means take me, I need to check the imperative on this. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, because I just got to translate this a few minutes ago. And then ha again. So so Hagiel Hotel Ka. So to the Gion Hotel. So that's it for the dialogue. Now, for some of these additional sentences, like do you have a pencil or how do you say this? So sawe scarure. So to say or to talk Tuscarora. How do you how basically it's just saying how do you express this? How do you express this in Tuscarora? So speaking Tuscarora is a verb. Um, I haven't seen like speaking Tuscarora as a verb attested yet, but I know in Lenape you can they have literally a verb for you have generic verbs for speaking and talking and saying, and then you also have verbs for specifically for speaking Lenape, which is different than the verb for um, which is different from the words for saying something or talking. Slightly different. So I did that. How te saweskarure can how do you say this in Tuscarora? Do you have a pencil? So this pencil thing. This is this yet. It means to lay, but it also means to have. So suya huh nayena fakwa nayena fakwa nayena fakwa. It means pencil. It literally means something like something that we humans use, to write, or something like that. All these words have meanings. Like they have like you can break down each word in there. Like I know the day is like we humans, and writing is forget what I'm not sure exactly what writing is, but that's all included in the word. And then I'm pretty sure this is the instrumental, the I think something that humans use to write, the instrument that humans use to write, something like that. And then no, I only have one, so no coins. This needs the organic, but coins no. I only kuya have only one. So kuya I have ucha ucha uch ucha only or just, and then anchi anchi is one, just one. So as I see more of these verbs and more of these sentences and stuff, if you go into the Tuscarora side of if you go like to the Tuscarora English side of Blair's dictionary and you look up just the Tuscarora words, you could actually find sometimes you could find like full sentences in the examples. Whereas if you're looking at the English Tuscarora side, oftentimes those are only going to have like the word you're looking for in English. You know, you're looking up lamb and it'll tell you like how to say lamb and it'll break down the word for a lamb, but it won't show you anything. Whereas on the Tuscarora side, like you might actually find that you can find a full sentence. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff like this, like many or much and distributive and stuff. But yeah, so the next unit we're gonna do is probably tomorrow is gonna be about once you're actually at the hotel. It's like, do you have an empty room in this hotel, stuff like that, and then asking like how much the prices are and getting into the room and all that stuff. So hopefully you all enjoyed this today. If you have any questions about my about why I chose to say a certain thing, let me know, and I'm happy to explain or make a follow-up video on any platform. And if you're Tuscarora, then definitely get in on this. Go to the forums, practice the material, and I'll catch you all on the next video. Thank you for watching.